Well, welcome. We are excited about the opportunity to work with you, to be a part of your research, and you kind of learning more about what we're doing in Pontiac. And by the way, she also used to work for Pastor Jones at Welcome Missionary Baptist Church. And I have to say that was probably a long time ago, as you are now at Michigan State in the associate director.
Yeah, I'm the associate director for the College of Engineering in the career development area. So I work with most students, helping to coach them and advise them through the process. And I love the fact that being able to reach back to my community, to people that were like myself in Pontiac, that have these communities that are trying to help people to stay and retain it, because it's very difficult in science, technology, engineering, and math. It's difficult just to get through to college and stay nowadays. But being able to go through the whole process
Mhm.
of working in that area and reaching back and helping young people to complete the process is definitely what I want to do. At the same time, working with leadership, because the more that we can be mentors, the better that it can be for those students who want to give up.
Thank you. And for those of you that don't know, Anisha is graduating this Sunday with her doctorate.
Congratulations.
So I can't see you. Let me get to you.
Yay, Anisha, way to go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is your
Yay.
topic for your dissertation, Anisha?
Mine is on parent engagement's influence on the educational attainment and self-efficacy of students of color in urban communities.
All right. Okay. Well, congratulations again. I know
Thank you.
a lot of hard work.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Dr. Hannah.
Thank you. So, Sharice, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know I have to hone in. I might, get very distinct on what I want to work on. So,
All right. So let me get started here. Let me get my screen going and we'll dive right in. So again, and so this might be a little redundant for some of you, but I do appreciate you joining us. This body, the Community Advisory Council, was the group that we went to some time ago to prioritize our 2024 goals. And we looked at really two that we have been spending an inordinate amount of time in, and that was early childhood education and also career readiness. And as you can see here, 24 people participated in the survey, and 18 of that 2024 really thought that we should prioritize career readiness. And that doesn't mean, I should point out, that we are not going to continue to have discussions around early childhood education, because we have been having some pretty robust conversations, but we'll leave it there at the conversations, and we'll focus on 2024 around career readiness. And I want to talk a little about that as we move forward. And as we all know, we have a challenge in Pontiac. And when I look at this picture, it looks like the senior citizens in our community looking at us, asking us, so what are you going to do next? We've done our part and we're ready to sit down and hand over the mantle to you. And so what we intend to do is really build around what the state has suggested that is necessary for the entire state of Michigan, not just the county or the city. But as you know, the state of Michigan has a 60 by 30 goal of 60% of our residents having a degree or short-term credential attainment. The county said, well, we're already at 60, so we're going to up that to 80% by 30. And they're well on their way to doing that, as you can see, based on the most recent Oakland 80 report. The county is now at 69%. And the state is at 51%. While the report doesn't disaggregate Pontiac from Waterford, you can see that the two combined have a 38% educational attainment rate. So we took it a step further and we looked at the US Census and the American Community Survey report, which suggested that in the city of Pontiac, 20% of our residents 25 and older have an associate's degree. And I should say only 20%, because certainly 80% don't, and that is our challenge that we are committed to addressing as an organization in partnership with the city, as you can see here, Mayor Grimo, with the school district. You also see Superintendent Williams, Oakland 80 at the time, that's who Cal represented. You also see Deborah Younger, the city's economic development director, and Dr. Sherman, who is the CTE director. And also President Gil Garrett. And we really felt that it was imperative to bring these system leaders together to really talk about the state's goal, the county's goal, and what should Pontiac really be focused on. And so from that was the first year of I Am Pontiac Young and Talented. And while Jennifer is here, I want to really make sure that I acknowledge her publicly, because without Jennifer and Chanel, I Am Pontiac would have never happened. And it is a focus on summer employment. It provides supportive services around those students that need uniforms or can't get to work and need gas cards, those that may need IDs, soft skills training, work readiness training. And our role then, as it will continue to be, was to serve as a convener and really to help identify partners and bring those partners together, and also to recruit the students within our school district. In that first year, this was the outcome. We identified, working with Michigan Works, to identify 11 local employers. The average wage of that experience was $13.85 an hour. And Michigan Works and the county contributed, through WIOA dollars, contributed $360,000 over the year in wages. And you can see additional dollars around incentive payments to participants. The city was a major part of that. Students had an opportunity to work in City Hall in some of the key departments in our local park systems, through our also with our library, Habitat for Humanity, and also consumers and unique foods. And so it's a lot to see that on paper, but I think the best way for you to really appreciate what I Am Pontiac has become is to actually see it in action. So if you could bear with me for just a moment, I'd like to share this video with you. Can you guys see the video? No?
It's not playing.
Okay. Let me get out and get back in. Can you see the video now?
Yes.
All right.
PCIP and our partners are doing the work to ensure our youth are returning to summer jobs after sitting out of the job market for the past few summers due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2022, the state of Michigan youth summer unemployment rate was between 10 and 12%. Together with the city of Pontiac, the Pontiac Michigan Works office, and several local businesses, the I Am Pontiac Summer Employment Initiative was developed. I Am Pontiac's citywide summer jobs program trains and employs youth between the ages of 14 and 24. Youth participants must be permanent residents of the city of Pontiac and be eligible to work in the United States. There are a broad range of jobs available to our youth. Examples are employment at City Hall, healthcare institutions, culinary establishments, retail, and junior park rangers, just to name a few. Youth workers have been a great support to our local small businesses and have gained valuable experiences working with some of our larger organizations. Summer work opportunities are essential in developing youth, helping them to gain 21st century job training and experience. In essence, we are building human capital for the future success of Pontiac. Thank you to all of our partners that have supported the I Am Pontiac Summer Jobs program. We look forward to seeing you next summer.
The partnership with Michigan Works in the city of Pontiac has been amazing. It's also not only for Michigan Works in the city, but for the community as a whole. This has given the youth an opportunity here to work in different departments in the city. At this time, this year, we've had the recreation department, our treasury department, as well as our cable department. The youth have had a wonderful experience. They've had an opportunity to learn different things. It's given them actually that work experience that they need, and they can evolve in the workplace. I'm working as an intern for the media company in the City Hall building. I've learned a lot about the media workspace and what it entails. I've done a lot of behind the scenes for city events. I've got to meet Mayor Tim Grimel and just help him. I just recently did the State of the City event. Michigan Works helped me a lot with this because not only did they give me an opportunity to have a job, but they also gave me the opportunity to learn about a skill that I'm interested in that'll help me in my future. The experience has been great. I learned many things like working in an office with multiple people instead of being focused on your tasks. I learned how to work with children, understand children. This experience has prepared me to stay focused and never give up.
Hi, I am Oakland County Commissioner Angela Powell, and I'm coming here to say thank you for partnering with the City of Pontiac with our I Am Pontiac Summer Youth Program. It was a phenomenal program this year. We were able to employ a lot of kids in our City of Pontiac, and I just want to thank Michigan Works for taking that lead and allowing us to come together. And I look forward to us rolling this same program out next summer.
My experience here has been really great. I've been able to experience a whole lot of new things in the healthcare, which made me realize how important healthcare really is. And Michigan Works helped a lot and has provided a lot for me, like transportation, the scrubs, shoes.
Michigan Works is great. They communicate, they help out. It's a great experience, especially if you want to be in the health field. To get different experience other than working in assisted living. The hospital is where it's at, really.
It's just overall been a really cool experience, and the people here at Trinity have been amazing and just shown us nothing but compassion and care and honest generosity.
I'm currently here at Oakland Literacy Council, where I am a communications intern, and that means that I take photographs, I work on videos, and I work on pieces that we publish to our site to let potential learners and potential tutors learn about our program. What I really liked about Michigan Works was that they worked with me and my passions. So there was a one-on-one meeting where I got to speak about what I was interested in, what experience I had, what experience I was looking to receive. And they were able to partner me with a place that I'd be able to find that experience and find that work that would help prepare me for the professional world for when I graduate. I've been involved with Michigan Works over this summer, and I think it's been an amazing opportunity just because some of the things that I got to learn about working in a nonprofit space. And so one other thing that's amazing about being in Michigan Works this summer is that they put me somewhere that I was able to kind of like cultivate what I want to do and what I want to go into. And so they wanted me to be in a nonprofit workspace to see how it works and how it develops and all the things that you have to know about working with a nonprofit. And so it's taught me quite a bit about different things that I have to do, especially with all of HR and filing and grants and so much. I most definitely like to thank for this experience, especially the City of Pontiac, PCIP, Michigan Works, and all the other collaborating nonprofits and funders.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tim Grimel of the City of Pontiac, and we are so appreciative for the amazing partnership between Michigan Works and the Pontiac Collective Impact Partnership to stand up the internship program, I Am Pontiac. This has been a great opportunity for our young people to get good experience while making some decent money to help propel them on a trajectory for future success in the workplace. So thank you, Michigan Works. Thank you, Pontiac Collective Impact Partnership, for all that you do for our community's young people.
Stop that.
I'm gonna do something I've never done before.
All right. So while we're into giving thank yous, let me just say thank you to Mayor Grimal, because I see that he's joined us, and I'm always conscious of his time. And are you still with us, Mayor?
I am, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Mayor Grimal, from the moment you walked into office, you have supported essentially everything that we have brought to you that made sense for the city. And we can't thank you enough for that. But more important than that, you have been a champion of the work. And so I just want to really salute you for that. And also open the floor and give you a few moments if you have any thoughts or comments you want.
Well, thank you for your kind words. First of all, I really appreciate them. I thought that video was great. Anisha, you did a super job on it. I was really proud of Tanisha, and of course, she on our team has played a critical role. I was a little alarmed by my part of the video because it sounded like I was shouting, so I'm sorry that I came off that way. But I really appreciate everything PCIP is doing in the community. We're looking forward to another great partnership with PCIP and Michigan Works around opportunities for young people in the community. And obviously, I am always on standby to help in any way that I can. So thank you for the dialogue and the collaboration, and just all of the hard work that you put in, Samino, and everyone on your team, Anisha, and everyone, because it really is a team effort. And thanks to your hard work and everyone's hard work at PCIP, the community truly is better off. We're making progress because of the important endeavors that you're leading. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I also would be remiss if I did not mention that Kano and I were meeting, and I was a little late to the call because of when our meeting wrapped up. And Kano specifically asked me to share with everyone that he's going to be joining the call soon as he gets to a computer.
Thank you. Great. And so that means I have to do a better job of distinguishing the different meetings. So, but thank you for that. And let me just dive right back into the presentation. Let me share my screen once again. Okay. So we started with 70 participants. The following year, we went from 70 to 106 participants. And this year, we hope to build on I Am Pontiac by not just looking at it through a summer employment perspective, but we've done a lot that we don't always talk a lot about around dual enrollment experiences. 2 years ago, we coordinated the first dual enrollment experience that took place on the campus of Pontiac High School. That was 18 students that participated in that academic skills dual enrollment course where they earned 2 college credits. We did it the following year, and this year they're calling us to do it, to support it. And so we want to continue to uplift that, because what I learned through that process, or what we learned, was that when students have an opportunity to sit in a college course for the first time, that light goes off. And they realize that in many ways, it was just like their high school experience, but with a little more rigor. And so that college success course taught them time management skills, study skills. And so we want to continue to help that, because we know one of the challenges that we're having that we also want to dive into, and I'll talk a little bit about today, is that when we get many of our students enrolled in post-secondary education, they don't persist at the rates that we need them to. And we're hearing and receiving some data that suggests that just 7% of our students last year who went to Oakland University will be coming back. And so that's a problem that we have to address. And we've been talking to, having conversations with the Promise Zone in Pontiac, the Promise Zone in Hazel Park, about creating some unique ways to support our high school seniors as they graduate and transition to either college or occupational training programs. And we're calling that our Pathways to Success. We want to continue to uplift those 2- and 4-year opportunities, but we realize that a gap is we're not doing a good enough job of identifying and creating pathways for our youth to participate in occupational skills training programs, such as one that we are in conversation with now with the Bernstein Clinic to have a pharmacy tech occupation or training program that they will conduct out of the clinic right here in the city of Pontiac, and providing employment opportunities immediately for those students. So we're going to pilot that this summer with 10 to 15 students. We're also having some conversations with Oakland Community College about some of their occupational training programs, but we can't do it without you. And what we've learned is we definitely need to begin to build some fundraising around that experience, because we're limited in the number of youth that we can engage. We are appreciative of the work that Michigan Works is doing, but $360,000 is not enough to provide the summer employment experiences, the college and career readiness opportunities for our youth. So we have to really begin to engage our corporations, our philanthropic partners, our community in general, our system leaders, to figure out how can we elevate this work around our youth, because we know that our youth are our future. And so one of those ways is Pathways to Success. And that is a partnership between, it really is a continuation of I Am Pontiac, which is a partnership between the city, Michigan Works, and our local school district. It connects high school graduates to occupational training programs and 2- and 4-year degrees. It utilizes the operational structure and the lessons that we've learned from the last 2.5 years here at Michigan Works. And the participants continue to receive those wraparound supports that are so vital and so important. And also, I should point out the importance of Oakland 80, because we don't highlight the work that they're doing enough right here in Michigan Works. They are located on some of our local campuses, and next year they will also be have an Oakland 80 navigator inside of our high school, and that's going to be important to helping connect our graduating seniors. And so I mentioned the Hazel Park Promise Zone. One of the things that they're doing is mentoring and coaching for high school seniors 2 years post-graduation, to make sure that, one, we can track our students, their students. And it's something that we're looking at piloting as well, because the reality is right now, another gap within our community is we don't know what that 80% of our students that don't go to a 2-year or 4-year program, we have no idea what they do after high school. And so we're trying to be more intentional about building a CRM where we can fill that gap in the community and track our graduates, particularly those that enter into occupational training programs, because the state doesn't even track those opportunities. So we have to do a better job of knowing what our youth are doing. And of course, continuing to work with the Pontiac Promise Zone to provide financial opportunities. And the hope is that in the future, that Promise Zone, those dollars will also be able to be used for housing. The other thing that we're looking at, and we hope to know any day now, and again, thank you, Mayor Grima, for allowing your team to take the lead on this, is we submitted an application for Youth Build. And Youth Build provides young people in communities like Pontiac an opportunity to serve their neighborhood by building or rehabilitating affordable housing for homeless or low-income people. And it really is, in essence, Pontiac residents or youth or disconnected youth giving back to their community and also learning a trade and a skill along the way. So this is a nationwide effort in terms of Youth Build through the Department of Labor. The grants range from $700,000 to $1.5 million. It is a target on our disconnected youth. So those that are not working, those that are not in school, this Youth Build is a specific target for them. It provides training opportunities. And because these youth are disconnected, many of them, most will not have a GED or high school diploma or GED. It is a requirement of the Youth Build program that they complete their high school equivalency. And also going back to the Oakland 80 and Michigan 60 by 30, we want to make sure that we are providing certification opportunities for our participants in this program. So again, this is dependent on whether or not we are successful at the grant but that grant was a partnership between the city and Oakland County Michigan Works and Oakland County. And so it would not have happened without all of them working together. And our role was to bring them together along with the industry partners who also can provide employment opportunities for youth who may participate in this program. So any day now, we hope to know what the outcome of that will be. So our short-term metrics, we want to increase the participation of IM Pontiac by diversifying, by not just providing employment opportunities, but continuing to look at the college and career readiness experiences that youth are getting, continuing to support the dual enrollment experiences with OCC. We are going to do a pilot right now. We've already identified a opportunity for 10 or 5 students with occupational a training program, again, as I mentioned, with the Bernstein Clinic. And I talked about Youth Build. And so those are our individual level indicators that we're looking at, but we're also focused on how we can impact the system. So with respect to system level indicators, we are going to continue to work with aligning participation with recruitment and processing of students in order to get them into pathways to success and Youth Build. And we also, our vision is that the Pontiac school districts, our charter schools and our traditional high school will begin to shift their way of thinking towards not just what happens, what they have to do to get a kid to graduation, but let's start thinking about what happens post-graduation as well, using the Pathways to Success model, and also to increase the alignment with occupational training program providers and employers. The Bernstein Clinic is just one, but we need more, where not only are industry partners providing training, but they are providing jobs for those participants immediately after training. And secondly, in addition, and perhaps even more important, is we have to begin to increase our funding around these efforts. Again, nearly 350,000 only impacted roughly around 100 students. And that's just for employment. But we had a really robust summer camp last year that cost $20,000 alone. And we're struggling to really be able to meet the needs of these opportunities without additional funding. So that's our goal, is to really begin that fund development strategy in partnership, of course, with all of you, and we welcome your thoughts and ideas. And lastly, real-time analysis of data. We really have to have a robust CRM that affords us the opportunity to know exactly what happens with our graduates once they leave our high school system. And even once they get into 2- and 4-year degree programs and occupational training programs, some of that is tracked by the state, but not all of it. And so in conversations with Rana, we know that, I think, Rana, correct me if I'm wrong, that typically we add 3% to what the state says our credential attainment goal is, because they can't adequately track the trade opportunities. Is that, am I tracking correct there, Rana?
So the percent that we used to add was 4%. It recently changed to actually 6.7% here in Michigan, just because we know that we have a large population that does have those credentials, skilled trades. We have a lot of nursing, healthcare certifications and things like that. So the number is actually now 6.7% to reflect more of the number in our state.
Beautiful. Thank you for that clarification.
Absolutely.
And that's a question that we often get. So just so you know, 6.7% is essentially added to what the state highlights as our educational attainment credentials. And so our goal, the state is 60 by 30, the county is 80 by 30. We are focused on a goal of 40 by 30, and we can do it. We recognize that's doubling the current rate, but it's still significantly less than the state's goal and half of the county's goal. So I'm optimistic, but I think even more important than providing the opportunities is, and I'm just closing out here, is how we socialize this, how we communicate this to our community, our faith-based community, our system leaders, just the average citizen. When we say 40 by 30, I think it gives us an opportunity to explain the data I just shared with you and really the opportunities to improve or move that number in the city of Pontiac. So I'll stop there. I'll open the floor for questions or comments. And Rana, I know you're doing a lot of things around Oakland 80 and Oakland Navigators, Oakland 80 Navigators that many of us may not be familiar with. So I hope you don't mind me asking you to maybe take a moment or two to just kind of give us an update on where you guys are. And I'd say also starting with that phenomenal support or report that you guys put out.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Thanks for the presentation. It's really great to hear that you're setting a citywide goal for post-secondary education attainment. And I certainly think that the goal you set is achievable if we all work together. So a couple of things I'll highlight, and you talked about our career and education navigators that are embedded throughout the county. Our primary focus when we launched them in 2022 in the summer was really on the adult population. We wanted to leverage some of the statewide programs. We had Michigan Reconnect at the time. There was Futures for Frontliners that targeted 25-year-olds and older that didn't already have an associate's degree. And so we wanted to leverage that and really focus on bringing people back that had stopped out of school and focusing on different disparities that exist. And so you highlighted our report that we did. We really dug deep into the data to see where are there pockets of population that could really use sort of that intensive one-on-one navigation, mentoring services to help people re-engage into post-secondary education and some of the other opportunities that are available. And so with that project under our wing, learning a lot about some of the services that we could provide, over the fall, we were approached by our friends. You talked about our Hazel Park Promise friends. They approached us with sort of a need to help with addressing the challenges they were facing in some of their high school spaces. And so we piloted a project with the Hazel Park Advantage Alternative High School to have a navigator embedded into the high school. And that pilot has been hugely successful. We've made, I think, such a difference, not only in terms of some of the numbers that we're seeing early on, but also that culture, right? Building that culture that post-secondary education is important, it's attainable, there are resources to help people, and we were just very, very excited to have that opportunity, and approached our Board of Commissioners, and fortunately they saw potential and promise, and so they extended funding for our career and education navigators through 2026 with an add-on for an expansion of career and education navigators into our high schools. And so we've spent the past couple of months approaching high schools, again, looking at the data. Where are there pockets of most need? We looked at graduation rates, dropout rates, post-secondary enrollment rates. We looked at community statistics, right? What are the number of individuals in those communities that already have post-secondary education? Because we really feel that it's about culture shifting and systems changes and changing people's attitudes and perceptions about post-secondary education. So we've been in conversations, of course, with PCIP and with the Pontiac High School and the Pontiac School Board and school staff, just again, looking at how can we make sure that we're working within those systems, working with those partners, not duplicating any of the wonderful services that already exist, but where can we help fill in some of those gaps and fill in those pockets? And you talk about funding and some of those challenges that we have. You know, fortunately, we have these career and education navigators. They're going through the process now of being trained. They're going through FAFSA training so that they can help folks complete FAFSAs. They're touring post-secondary institutions and trying to understand the differences between them all and sort of the learning and meeting with the staff. So we're really, really excited. We'll do a soft launch and expand the career and education navigators into the high schools right now. And so again, Pontiac is one of the places we're talking with. And then we'll do a soft launch. And then in the fall, we'll add a handful more. Some of the things that you talked about, you know, really piqued my interest in terms of a CRM and tracking students after graduation. That's one of the nice things also about our career and education navigators is we're thinking through, like, what does it look like after they graduate high school? You know, is the navigator that they worked with in high school the same one that helps them throughout their whatever their post-secondary education plans are? Or is there a handoff, right, to another career and education navigator that's on campus if they're in a post-secondary institution? So, you know, working through those things, trying to be very strategic and intentional. We recognize that it takes a while to build trust with high school students, with their families, with the community. And so we're working through a lot of those things right now. And we certainly couldn't be as effective as I think we are without our partnerships, certainly with PCIP and the Pontiac Promise and many of our others. I saw a note from Lisa about us also being at Oakland Literacy Council. Again, just trying to be where the people are that need our help.
Thank you. And thank you for joining also, Lisa. And for those of you that don't know, Lisa leads the Oakland Literacy Council. And we've had a number of conversations with her about how do we uplift the literacy and numeracy of our adult population, right? And because as we think about trying to get more folks into occupational training programs, one of the barriers is literacy and numeracy. And so Lisa is really an important component of, I think, all of this work globally. But I'll also say, and just to level set with respect to the schools and what we've seen over the last 3 years, potentially, we've had 2 to 3 CTE directors over the last 3 years. We've had 3 new principals in the high school over the last 3 years. And I would argue we're probably the most consistent thing over that period in the school. So that's what we're working with. It's not that the school district isn't making a difference. It's that they have so many barriers to overcome themselves because folks leave as quickly as they come. And so having navigators and having Oakland County and the city really begin to lean into that work, I think is just going to continue to help us move the needle forward. And so thank you, Ron. And I know I didn't tell you I was going to pick on you today. So you did an excellent job. And so Chris, unless there are other questions or comments, I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Thanks, Amino. Just wanted to give a pause, quick second. No other thoughts, questions, feedback?
Do you mind if I just add one thing? This is Jennifer Llewellyn. I'm sorry to step away for a second to take an important phone call. I just wanted to publicly acknowledge PCIP and Mayor Greimel and the city for their partnership with us. I mean, Oakland County and Oakland County Michigan Works has had a youth program in Pontiac for 20 plus years. But it's really been the energy and partnership and enthusiasm and passion of both the city and PCIP that have been that have allowed us to take it to the next level, to rebuild that trust, to build a sense of community. And you know, we're fortunate to receive those federal dollars to fund that program. I will be calling on all of you because those federal funds are actually up for reauthorization. The bill passed the House a few weeks ago, headed to DC here in a few weeks to meet with the Senate to see if we can shape some changes in that bill, including increasing investment, which would allow us to enroll more students in the program. So we'll be looking for letters of support and things like that. So I just want to thank everyone so much for your kindness and your partnership and your friendship. And I think sometimes we get so bogged down in the grants and the details and doing the work that we forget that these are humans and that we are changing their lives and we're changing their trajectory of their lives, especially for these young people. And I'm so thankful to call all of you friends and work together with all of you on that. So just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Regina, I see you on. I don't know if you can speak at this moment. And I know just like with Rhonda, you didn't know I was going to call on you. But I think it is important to uplift what you do as a builder and who happens to be a female. And we don't have a lot of that in the community. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of touch on that. As we talked about Youth Build, we often are looking for opportunities for young men, but you are a shining example of a woman who has jumped into this industry and doing it at a high level. And I just wanted to just give you an opportunity to speak to that.
All right. Thank you so much. You're talking about Regina. I was on another phone call when you picked in from Mishra. So I you know what? I am so excited to be on this Zoom meeting with everyone, and the path that you all are taking as it relates to Youth Build and the city of Pontiac at large is great. What I can say is, as a builder, as a woman builder, there's a lot of challenges that we face, that I face, and not just with the industry itself as being a woman. But what I can say is that as long as we continue to align ourselves with partners that have like visions, such as what you're saying, the youth program will flourish. I can say that Mishra has a CAP program that they've contacted me on to work with them and to bring it to the city of Pontiac. I was on the phone just a moment ago with the young lady that reached out to me. So as you guys move forward with your initiatives, you know, I thank you for inviting me to be a community partner. We are currently working on some housing on the south side that we would love to be able to take some of the youth to give them some experience with building residential housing. And so that is something that we're looking to put at Genesis Construction, as well as some of the other partners that we're currently partnered with, to make this happen for our community with all the housing shortage. So we really want to be actively engaged and make it sustainable for our youth to have a career in the trades. So
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
my
And
pleasure.
I could go on, and if you haven't figured it out, I kind of like the popcorn approach. So I may just call on you at any moment, Lisa. But let me digress, and I'll turn to Chris to take.
We call that the Magic Johnson no look pass. You know, just got to be ready in our meetings. But no, that perfectly alludes. And thank you all, number one, for responding to the survey. We know we had pushed it out a little quick to you, but you all responded promptly and really helped us refine our direction as we move forward. Those of you who have been with us, and I guess that's all of you here on this call who have been with us since the start, know that we have been designing and refining this work collectively with you all over the last several years. And really this past year, 23-24 was really sort of the, not sort of, it was the partnership emerging, right? Emerging into the work. And that's where we are as a partner with the nationally recognized Strive Together Collective Impact Model, is how do we partner together? As Jennifer pointed out, some of these programs have been around for a long time, right? We're not inventing anything new. These resources have been here. But what's important is that PCIP, while we are the entity that is a part of the backbone, which we discussed at our last meeting, you know, the role of where the work gets done is with our councils, right? You, the community members, you are PCIP, as Cal likes to constantly remind us. All we do is sit down and say, hey, can we all talk, right? And we keep the conversation going, but you all do the heavy lifting. You all do where the rubber actually meets the road. You actually go back to your organizations and you make sure that your organization is involved and committed to the work that's agreed upon by the partnership. And I can't tell you how proud of you all I am, and proud of our community that we're able to move this work as we have. I know it's felt like a long journey, and we're finally getting into the meat of things. We've spent the last several months refining how we approach this work. You know, we've had several ups and starts. And so when you're emerging, it was like giving birth to the work, right? And we know with any giving birth, you have to make adaptations. You have to, when you give birth to the baby of the work itself, you have to be flexible. And that's what we've been. Last summer, we did a little bit of structuring and sort of realigning how we work together in a partnership along with your input. And, you know, we created the Executive Council. The Executive Council was created to give sort of that 10,000-foot view of how the organization will operate both fiscally and both legally in a lot of instances. And that's where the role of the Executive Council, many of you who are here today from the Executive Council have been with us on that journey. And now we're looking at how we make sure this body, the Advisory Council, continues to stay engaged and work through the process of making sure we are getting to the outcomes and the results that you all have designed in the beginning. This is a fluid process. We run through a cadence of, you know, trying things that haven't worked and then, you know, figuring out what does and what doesn't. There is no magic bullet to this work, but we know that collectively, all of the resources, the talent, the skills, the knowledge base exists. And we have to keep you all at the table to do that piece. And so what we're asking of this group is the Advisory Council. And the Advisory Council, most of you have played a key role from the beginning of our inception. And now it's how do you all work with this partnership? We delegated some of the decision-making into the Executive Council because they were more higher level administrative type things. And so now we're looking at how do we keep the partnership collectively leaning into the work as your organizations do, or as you do through and with your networks. And so that is the work of the Advisory Council. And so what I'd like to do is just take a second to talk through some of the work of what this council will do. And really, I wanted to also sort of highlight that while some of you here are from the Executive Council, if you have, and we do meet with you all fairly regularly. And so you're more than welcome to always be here. But if there's a designee in your organization who you work with in this partnership, partnership, and you don't necessarily have to attend both meetings, but we certainly welcome you here. I know some of you have indicated that you just want to hear what's going on, or if you've missed an executive council meeting, this is a good place to catch up. And so you're always welcome, but know that you can send a designee to this advisory council as we intend to continue to move this work. And so thinking about the advisory council, it's really a collection of individuals who bring unique knowledge and skills, which augment the knowledge and skills of the executive council to guide the organization, right? The advisory council, you don't have formal authority to govern the organization. That is, the advisory council can't issue directives, which must be followed. You know, we're going to look to the executive council to do those things. But rather, the advisory council serves to make recommendations and to provide key information and materials to the partnership, as well as the executive council and the action teams that we have created. Currently, we have, I want to say 2.5, right? Because we're still waiting on the youth bill grant to come back, whether or not we received it. But right now we have 2 functioning action teams. Our goal is for the action teams is to continuously come back and report to you that on the work that they've done in between each advisory council meeting. And as we begin to grow the work out, that'll be necessary for you all to lean in and provide your resources, thoughts, talents, and even if it's just promoting and marketing to the things that we have adopted as initiatives as a partnership. And then you play, as I said, you play an important role with that public relations as well as providing us with a fresh perspective. Sometimes we can sit around and ponder things and plan things, but you all always give us fresh perspective, which we just witnessed in our early literacy council, our kindergarten readiness action team. We just witnessed as we were thinking about data. We thought one thing about data, and then when we sat down with the partners, they gave us, Cal and I, a ton of other information as to what data looks like in that space. And that stuff, you know, PCIP would not have known if it not have been for you all. And so we can help them look at data so that they can form outcomes that we'll begin moving toward in the next couple of months. So what is an advisory council's role? So it's to develop and refine the common agenda for change, including problem statement, goals, and guiding principles. Now, we have a common agenda that we've been working through since PCIP's inception, but every 2 to 3 years, it's recommended that you revisit that common agenda and really look at, does that still work? What is it that you're focusing on? And we've been spending the last 5 months, refining our focus and making sure that we are being deliberate in the steps that we're taking in an effective and informed and data measured way. And so it's almost time to look at that common agenda again and say, are these still the same targets that we want to shoot at, right? And so we want to make sure that in your role as the advisory council, we'll be asking you to jump right in and begin helping us create and refine this common agenda as we move forward. We use data to inform strategy and develop learning. I just gave a great example of how we did that in one of our action teams. You all will also participate in helping us gather data. We use you as a resource, even if you're not in an action team. Sometimes, Rana is not personally on one of our action teams, although some of our staff are, but we may call Rana or Jennifer and say, tell us a little bit about this data as you just saw in this meeting. Check progress of the work using agreed upon indicators at action teams and working group levels. Make connections between action teams to ensure coordination and efficiency, and then interact with the backbone entity on strategy, community engagement, and shared measurement. And then we also would like for you to provide leadership and consider how your individual organization or those in your network align with the common agenda. So we want you to constantly think about, as you think about this work, the work is not just about this meeting, but that you carry it back to your organizations and make sure that, and hopefully in the areas that are possible, try to align that work with what we're deciding. That's how we move together as a partnership. And that's how we begin to make decisions together and begin to work, come out of our silos and begin to work as a collective. Participate in regularly scheduled meetings. About our meetings, I'm sorry, I meant to change. Our meetings are not 4 to 6 weeks, but every 4 times a year, every three months. Review pre-read materials prior to meeting and come prepared for engaged discussions, active listening, and respective dialogue. We want to make sure that these meetings become more engaged, more active, more discussion oriented. more planning oriented. So that's going to require us to do a little homework, right? That's going to require us, as we send things out, to be before the meeting, make sure that you have at least read any of the things that we have put out during the times between the meetings. And then also, we're going to ask you to do some planning, right? As we begin to dive deeper into these initiatives, we want you to think about what that planning looks like. Okay, if they're doing financial aid, or if they're doing college enrollment, what is it that I can do in my organization to advance that? Okay, some of you may be in human service organizations and you go, oh, wow, okay. I can share this information with all the participants in my organization. I can put it on my website. And then you can also look at it as a form of, well, I'm not in that space. Maybe like Regina, I'm not in that space, but what else can I do? Who in my network can I share it with? I know parents, whether it's at my community group, or whether it's at church or some other space that you might be in. Be prepared and ready to sort of help us share this information to sort of build that cultural change that we're looking for within the community around meeting our outcomes. We have to constantly put this in the face of our community so that it becomes something that they see all the time and that they understand is important. And then commit to a year-long membership to the advisory council. We hope you would stay longer, but we know that some of our initiatives will only last a short period of time. They may only last a year, but we also want you to think about, how long can I really be engaged in this work? And if you cannot, we certainly understand. We know that we all lead very busy lives, but we want you to make sure that you're here for at least a period of time in which you can really make an impact with your input and your support of our work. I wanted to pause right here to see if there were any thoughts about anything that I just ran through. I know I did it a little quickly, but if you had any thoughts or feedback, we'd like to get that at this time. Okay.
Chris, I think it's cut and dry.
All right, I appreciate that. As we look at that, we want to think about selecting a chair and a co-chair to guide the meetings and move the agenda. This is always necessary because, like I said, this is not PCIP's work. This is the work of the partnership. This is the work of the community. What we try to do with a chair and a co-chair is, and I shouldn't say try to do, our role is to make sure that you're supported. So as a chair, and we do both, chair and a co-chair, because we know you do have busy lives. And there are times when you just simply cannot make a meeting. And so we'd like to have two people in that space, hearing and thinking through the process of, what needs to be done as we prepare for our meetings. And so thinking about that, we have chairs and co-chairs of our action teams, and it's worked beautifully, right? At PCIP, what we do is we support that process, the administration function of that process. It might require maybe a half-hour, 30-minute meeting before an advisory council meeting to review some of the things that we talked about last time, where we'd like to take the agenda next time, and then to get the input of the chair and the co-chair around things that we'd like to present to the group for disposition. And so we really would like for you to think about if you would like to be that. We are open. We have nominated people in the past in our action teams to be chair and co-chair, and they've graciously accepted, and they've simply been outstanding leaders. But our goal is not to make it a ton of work on your part, but to be a thought partner as we do all of design, the recording of meetings, setting up the planning, creating the agenda. What we really need are your thoughts about how to move the work of the partnership forward as a chair and a co-chair. Some of those roles of a chair and a co-chair will be moderating and presiding over the meetings, ensuring that the agenda is accomplished, to convene the meeting, hold the agenda, and cast a deciding vote if necessary. There will be times, such as in the survey that we sent out last month regarding strategic direction. If that would have been a tie, we would have relied on a co-chair to sort of break that tie. And so we wanted to make sure that so having that person in place can often help us move the agenda faster so that we don't have to go back through some of the processes and rehash them. Assist in scheduling meetings for the council, as well as length and content. Right now, we are on a every 3-month cadence of our meetings. And so As we get a chair and a co-chair, after we assess the group, you may say that's too much time in between. We may need to do it sooner, or we may need to go back to doing it in person or doing a hybrid, which we have done in the very beginning. And so we really want that person to be the one to help us make that decision, as well as guide it collectively with the group, and then support making decisions about the agenda, the process, and the substance, as what I alluded to earlier. And so I want you to take a quick second as you think about the role of the advisory council. What support do you need to be successful in the partnership? And you can take a second to think about that if you have a response. If not, if you want to need more time to think about it, we certainly understand. But definitely think about what support do you need to be more active in the advisory council, or even support you need to carry out the agenda as we've laid out so far for our 2024 strategic direction. You can drop it in the chat as well if you're not available to be on camera or to speak at this point, but I'll give you a second to think about that. And one of the things Cal Tally and I will be doing, and Anisha will be doing in the next several months, is meeting with you all individually. We want to start that back up again. We started it early on, and through a number of changes that we've initiated, it sort of fell off the radar, but that's important for us. It's important for the partnership to get your feedback. We know oftentimes in the meeting, you may not have a thought about it, but maybe next week it'll pop into your head and be like, hey, I can do this. And so we want to make sure that we're staying in constant communication with you, especially since we've changed the cadence of the meetings. It's critically necessary for us to think about working with you. And like I said, those conversations sometimes only take 15, 20 minutes, half hour at the longest, which generally doesn't take that much. We may have specific questions, or it may just be an update. And we also learn things from you. Oftentimes in the midst of your work, you're doing things that maybe you didn't have time, or maybe say whatever you're doing, you may start something next month, but it's not kicking off now. You didn't bring it to this group, but you may say, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z. And sometimes we can help you promote it. Sometimes we can bring the resources of the network to what it is that you're doing. And so there are a lot of different ways that we can help. And so these meetings are going to be critical in the next several months to make sure that we're serving your needs as well as serving the needs of the partnership as a whole. Any other thoughts or ideas or considerations that you all might have that we may want to think about? And we take suggestions. These are our ideas moving forward, but we are guided by your input and your suggestions. But definitely, if you don't have anything right now, that's fine, but we're open. We will be talking and meeting with you in the next several months to get your feedback, to get your suggestions, and to also maybe in some instances provide updates on things that we're doing. So look for our emails, our appointments to get on your calendar, and we promise we won't steal a lot of your time.
And again, for those of you that are on the executive council, you may want to identify someone who can fill in that role. But again, as Chris and I both indicated, you're always welcome to hang out with us on the advisory committee.
Thank you. And I think, Anisha, I think I have you next on the agenda, if that's correct. Don't have it in front of me.
Yes, I think so. Let's talk about updates from our action team, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. So what we've been up to, we just met this week with our post-secondary enrollment action team, which has been working on a FAFSA campaign. And so what we've seen, and many of you are probably aware that because of the changes that the FAFSA application has impacted them greatly. There's been a delay in the results in the FAFSA application, the students receiving their award information. So at this point, there's no clear numbers to indicate how we have done. In fact, I think the data is showing that the overall state is down 27% in terms of FAFSA completion. However, within the city of Pontiac, we have been working with our Pontiac School District as well as some of our other schools in the community to really help our students complete that process. And we have done a great job in that. just recently, probably about a month ago, the Pontiac School District had a FAFSA event where they invited all of the seniors to come into the auditorium, and we had our partners there helping them to complete the application. And it was a huge success. So I think we have probably about over 75, I believe, students that have completed their application. But again, because the state is behind with the processing of these applications, no one has, they've not received their award information. So we're continuing to push to make sure all of our students get their applications completed. On May 1st is Decision Day nationwide. So the district is planning an event to acknowledge those students that have decided where they would like to go beyond high school. So we're working with the district as well as our partners to support that initiative. And so we're really looking forward to celebrating these students on their accomplishment and just uplifting the progress that they've made. As it relates to our early literacy action team, we are still in the works with that. As Chris mentioned, we're working with our chair and co-chair just to solidify some data, just to give us some clear direction as to what our key focus will be with this initiative. But we are still moving forward. We are moving forward with our literacy house. I think we had shared that information with some of you before. Roy in Detroit is partnering with PCIP and other partners here in the Pontiac to bring our first literacy house, which will be the home of Maddie McKinney Hatchett, her home. So we're hoping to launch that this summer. So stay tuned for more information in regards to that. So just we're keeping the needle, we're keeping the ball moving forward. So those are the things that we have right now that we're working on. So we will be implementing another action team as we continue to dive into our workforce. So we'll have more updates soon. Did I miss anything, Chris?
I don't think so. There was something, and maybe it'll come back to me. No, I don't think you missed anything.
Thank you.
Also, could you lift up the upcoming events with the cleanup on Monday and then eradicating racism? So
yes,
on the
thank
agenda.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, so in partnership with the city of Pontiac, we're doing, which this year will be our third annual citywide cleanup on Earth Day, which is Monday, April 22nd. Community partners are meeting up downtown Pontiac, I believe on West Huron Street. And we're going to tackle downtown Pontiac. So this is, last year we did it a little bit different. We met up at various parks within the city, but this year we're gonna hone in on downtown Pontiac and take care of that area. But we will address other local parks and landmarks within the city throughout May, June, and July. So we've identified Saturday dates in May, June, and July where we will clean up specific areas in the city. But on Monday, April 22nd on Earth Day, we'll all be downtown Pontiac, addressing the downtown Pontiac area. Eradicating racism. A couple years ago, some of you may remember PCIP hosted a workshop called Undoing Racism. And so there we brought in an organization to talk about the systems that are here in Pontiac as well as nationwide that affect our communities. And so we had great conversation with that. So at Oakland University, there's a group there called Initiatives for Eradicating Racism. So together we decided to apply for a community impact grant through Oakland University, and we were awarded that grant. And so the two organizations, we've had conversations about how do we go from undoing racism to eradicating racism, having those conversations within community. So in March, we hosted an event down at the Platt Little Theater, and we began the conversation on what it looks like to eradicate racism. So as a part two to that discussion, we're having a virtual event, which will take place on Wednesday, April the 24th. It's at 6:30 p.m., 6 o'clock p.m. I'll confirm the time, but this event will be virtual. And we're going to continue that conversation on going from undoing racism to eradicating racism. And what PCIP is going to do is just talk about Pontiac's community map journey of Pontiac, just the historical racism, things that have happened here in the city, where we are currently today, and then continue the discussion on how do we change? How do we really impact these systems and eradicate racism? So hopefully you can share that information. We'll make sure that, I think it has been emailed to you, but we'll get it sent out again. And if you can share it throughout your organizations and your networks, we would really appreciate it. Again, it's a virtual event, and we look forward to continuing that conversation of undoing racism to eradicating racism here in the city of Pontiac with all of you.
Thanks, Jennifer. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. Any other thoughts or comments around anything that we've discussed today?
Just thank you for the level of consistency that this organization is always continuously putting in place. You know, making sure you're providing a wide suite of services for people to be able to participate in, and also to go ahead and be effective, to go ahead and be a component of change within the community of Pontiac. So I just want to go ahead and take that moment to lift all of you up. That's you, Nish, Chris, Cal, and Samino. So thank you for that.
And I second that, Kano.
I see you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Dr. Williams and Kano. And many of you don't know that when we started I Am Pontiac, we really it was born in Kano's office with Kano, myself, and Chanel sitting down. I think we went to have Panera lunch, and we just started talking about employers in the community that we can reach out to. And that guy, Mr. Phillips, had most of them on his Rolodex, and he just called one after the other to get employment opportunities for our youth. And he is a chip off the old block of his dad and his mom. And I'm still getting used to the new haircut, but
that's got to go. You'll see here in about a week. It's got to go. Y'all got joked.
And many of us, we don't see Dr.
Especially
Williams.
Jennifer.
And we don't see Dr. Williams enough, but she has, in many ways, single-handedly helped the high school set up its career academies through NAF. So IT, hospitality and tourism, engineering, business, health. Arlene has been the plug, going back to United Way, now with NAF. And we're really trying to tap into those career academies and use the students who leave the academy and provide employment opportunities, internship opportunities, occupational training. So it's a continuum of the work that has been started in terms of our discussion around pathways to success. It really starts with a lot of the work that Dr. Williams has brought to our local school district. So thank you, Dr. Williams.
And thank you. I'm working behind the scenes to make sure that we have quality experiences for students. Yes.
We know you're over there humbly putting it in. We know what you're doing.
Thank you.
Hey, but Dr. Scott, can I just pull from a conversation you and I had last week with Jennifer? As far as I Am Pontiac, the way that they jumped in with Oakland County, Michigan Works to go ahead and make sure they were consistently providing those funding opportunities and wraparound services for our kids to be able to go ahead and develop into this work dynamic that's going to go and set the tempo for them to be successful in life. And I just wanted to see, Jennifer, this is a conversation we were having about you behind your back. So we felt the need to go ahead and put it on the table.
That's so
how
nice.
much we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you and Chanel.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's Chanel and the Pontiac team. I mean, they're just extraordinary. They're so passionate about this work, and they do their best. And it's, we've talked about this before, like these are federal dollars and they're not easy to navigate. There's a lot of documentation and a lot of compliance, and we really do our best to make it as easy and friendly as possible, and to make a difference while still, protecting obviously our funding and our grants and things like that. So Thank you, Kano, but it's really Chanel and the Pontiac team that that make it happen. And as I said earlier, we really couldn't do it without all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
We appreciate the humble response, but I know what's going on. You and Chanel, y'all go ahead and tag team it and make it happen. So thank you.
Lisa, what's going on in your work?
Yeah, Lisa, all quiet.
Well, we're in our post-testing season, so that's always fun. And we've got, like, of those that have post-tested, 80% are getting gained. So we're pretty excited about that. It's a little early, and you know, as we go on, they'll have people who aren't as engaged in our program. But for right now, we're still holding strong at 80%. So that's pretty good with over 100 post-tested. We're getting ready for our first GED student. So we think he's getting ready. We're giving him a GED ready test. And so we're pretty excited about that. He graduated our program with math. So his math skills are, he jumped 2 levels. So we're pretty excited about that. And the other thing that we're really excited about is our IET. So we've been, we got a planning grant from the state, an integrated educational and training program. So it's for English language learners around manufacturing. We've been working with OCC to devise a curriculum, and we're pretty excited about using Society of Manufacturing Engineers. I can't name the certificate, but it's basically an introduction to manufacturing. So we've been working with some employers too. And I think that might be an interesting thing to try to do with adult basic education students, that adults that are English language learners, but who want to get into manufacturing. It gives you a broad overview of the trade too. So throwing it out there.
That's awesome.
That's incredible, Lisa. Great work.
So Chris, have we gone through the agenda? We're good?
We sure have, sir.
I'm sorry, I just saw Jen.
Yeah. Can I just mention one more thing? And I apologize if Rana mentioned this in her comments, but we were really fortunate to get a very significant investment, $7 million from the Oakland County Board of Commissioners for supportive services and barrier removal. That is in addition to the just under $1 million competitive grant that Oakland County Michigan Works got through some state funding. So we now have about $8 million available through now and the end of 2026 to strictly address barriers to employment and education. So if there is anything that's standing in the way, car repairs, books and supplies for school, driver's license registration fees, insurance on the car, childcare, anything related to work, keeping the job, getting enrolled in school, we have the dollars to be able to remove those barriers. Now, these are not long-term fixes. We're not going to pay your rent for the next year, right? We're not going to, you know, fix the whole family's cars. But if it's a barrier that can be removed, that's interfering, we're here to help. So folks can be referred to the Michigan Works office in Pontiac for that support. They do have to provide documentation, right? So an eviction notice, a quote to have the car repaired, childcare, you know, licensed childcare bill. They've got to provide some documentation around it. And the payment is made directly to the organization. So it's paid directly to the car repair shop. It's paid directly to the licensed childcare facility. We don't want a payment to them to interfere with maybe their food assistance benefits or their cash benefits or their unemployment benefits or social security income. So just wanted to lift that up. It's honestly been a dream come true in my career. This has been something that we have advocated for years and years and years, as we put people in training, but then we don't worry about like how we keep them in and get them to completion. Or we say, well, they just have to get a job, right? That's the narrative. You just have to get a job, but people don't understand all the barriers that are in the way of that person obtaining employment. So just want to share that with the group. Please send folks our way. Please be patient because there's a big demand for the services and it takes a minute, but at this point I feel like there should be no reason, right? We've got financial aid, we've got tuition assistance available, we've got the promise zone, we've got money to remove barriers. There's nothing left that can be a reason why we can't get folks to employment or education and get them to the finish line. So thanks for letting me add that.
That's huge.
That is.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Really enjoying
But,
this current administration.
Yes, yeah, they've been really very supportive, and you know, it's really neat when someone comes to you and like, what's your dream? Like, what, you know, you've been in workforce a long time. What's your dream? Where are the gaps? Where are the challenges? And with Rana and our team, we were able to put from some proposals together that said, you know, these are the things that we've always wanted to do, that there's, you know, proven, these are based in data. These are based in proven models. That's part of the requirements of the ARP funding, is that it has to be a demonstrated success. And we were able to put that forward, and really, really proud of the team, County Executive Coulter, Board of Commissioners, you know, Chief Deputy County Executive Hillary Chambers. If you haven't met her, she's really the champion behind, you know, workforce development and education in a skilled workforce. So, you know, kudos to the leadership for seeing that and being willing to invest in it.
This is great work. Jennifer, what are the age ranges for?
Oh, Rana, help me out. 18 and up for those supportive services. Yes. Yeah. And that's a federal ARP requirement. However, I should add, we have other dollars through Oakland County, Michigan Works that can go down to 16.
Thank you.
So I know we're approaching time, and Sharice, hey, this has been a lot for your first meeting. I hope this was helpful.
It was absolutely helpful. In fact, I'm familiar with a lot of the resources that are here, and I'm excited about it because I do know in the past there have been challenges. So this is awesome.
Thank you. And these are folks that perhaps as part of your research, you may need to have a conversation with at some point. And I'm sure they'll be happy to support your dissertation. And we are, of course, as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I am here as a support to the community as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Any closing thoughts before we wrap?
How's everyone feeling about what we've discussed today? Thumbs up? All right.
We have Brian on the call. I don't know if Brian might want to say something. Oh, Brian's good. I see his thumb up.
Brian, was there anything you want? Go ahead. Go right
Anisha,
ahead.
you know I'm gonna get you. Hey, honest to everyone on there. Yes. I'm on my way to St. Louis. So but I really enjoyed the meeting. Very informational. I will be actually contacting Jennifer. I couldn't get the last name because we do have some clients that I think have some of those barriers that we that we needed. We didn't have the funding as far as Goodwill Flip the Script, but maybe she could help. So
absolutely, send them, either reach out to me or refer them over to Chanel Shelby and the Oakland County Michigan Works Pontiac team. Either way is fine. We'd love to partner.
And I know that Greg and Chanel are having ongoing conversations, Brian. So that can be helpful as well. Yeah,
her and Greg and I had, spoke within the last week. So that's good to know that is coming or here already. Yeah, I really enjoyed everything. I appreciate you, calling me.
Yeah, no worries, man. And thank you for joining on your way to St. Louis. And for those of you that don't know Brian works at Flip the Script. And so all of us know that they've just joined the community. Brian's a lifelong resident of Pontiac and an excellent resource for that organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so we'll give you 2 minutes back of your time, and thank you all really for joining. Really, really appreciate the conversation today and all the work that you all have done.
Guess what, though?
We'll continue to do.
All right.
Thanks for a great meeting.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Take care. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody be great, safe.
Have a good weekend.
Yes, you as well,
You
everyone.
bring me some barbecue back, man.
Hey, listen here. Hey, you got you.
Since you're going
That's
down
what
there,
I'm looking
dog.
for too.
All right, my brother.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up. All
Okay.
right, my brother.
Peace,
All
my
right.
brother.
Take
Yes.
care.
All right, everybody.